Hello and good morning. Today is January 20th, 2026, and you're listening to That's Old News, the daily download making old headlines hot again. I'm your host, Ainsley Harvey, and as always, we're looking at what went down on this day in history, which means we're rewinding it all the way back to 1758, when Marie Anne Pauls Lavoisier, French chemist, is born. Working alongside her husband Antoine Lavoisier, the couple helped rebuild the field of chemistry, which had its roots in alchemy and at the time was a largely convoluted science. Meanwhile, on this day in 1869, Elizabeth Cady Stanton became the first woman to testify before US Congress. As a pioneering American activist and writer, Elizabeth is largely credited as the leader of the 19th century women's rights movement, with her work on the Declaration of Sentiments being considered the first formal demand for women's suffrage. Today is also the day in 1930 in which Buzz Aldrin, American fighter pilot, aeronautical engineer, and NASA astronaut, is born. Serving in the Korean War before starting work at NASA, Aldrin was a part of a number of missions in the space race, including the Gemini 12 mission and Apollo 11. Making him one of the first humans to step foot on the moon. Fast forwarding to this day in 1936, and we have both a death and an ascension, with the death of King George V leading his son Edward VIII to succeed him. As a known philanderer and ladies' man, David, who took the regnal name of Edward, made many question his suitability for the throne while he was Prince of Wales. Their suspicion was well-founded when he was discovered leaving state papers containing valuable secrets and military information for his mistress, Wallis Simpson, to see. As a known friend of the Nazi Party, she is accused of taking these papers to German high command. Refusing to break with Wallis, Edward abdicated the throne to his younger brother Albert, who went on to become King George VI, leading Britain through the Second World War and placing his daughter, Elizabeth II, on the throne after him. Speaking of the Second World War, today is the day in 1942 that Nazi officials hold the notorious Wannsee Conference in Berlin to organize the final solution, which ultimately became the extermination of Europe's Jewish peoples. Gathering at a villa, 15 high-ranking Nazis, including SS General Reinhard Heydrich and SS Lieutenant Colonel Adolf Eichmann, head of Jewish affairs, determined the most effective way to carry out what Hitler described as the systematic, deliberate, and physical annihilation of the European Jewish population. The Wannsee Conference goes down as one of the most evil days in all of human history. In response to the mounting Nazi threat, this is the day in 1945 that US President Franklin D. Roosevelt is sworn in for an unprecedented and never-to-be-repeated fourth term as US President. Leading the US through the Great Depression and World War II, FDR broke the two-term tradition set by George Washington, which was not formally set into law until the passing of the 22nd Amendment in 1947 following Roosevelt's death. Jumping forward to 1968, and we hear wedding bells ringing as actress Sharon Tate weds actor and director Roman Polanski in Chelsea, London. The two moved back to Los Angeles and fell pregnant, taking up residence in 10050 Celio Drive. Sharon, who was heavily pregnant, remained in LA while Roman traveled to Europe for an upcoming film, when the young star and 4 of her friends were ambushed and murdered by members of the Manson family cult. Today is also the day in 1993 that legendary film star and humanitarian Audrey Hepburn dies at age 63. Famous for her roles in Breakfast at Tiffany's, Roman Holiday, My Fair Lady, and Sabrina, Audrey survived the Nazis' occupation of Holland during the Second World War, won an Oscar, and focused on children's rights as a dedicated UNICEF ambassador from 1988 to 1993. And finally, today's the day in 2020 that Australian actor Liam Hemsworth and American singer Miley Cyrus divorced after 1 year of marriage. And that's old news from this day in history. I'm Ainsley Harvey, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.